With the Iranian attacks on Israel over this past weekend being top of mind, this story may have flown under your radar. Israel lets AI decide who dies in Gaza. The Israel military has employed another AI-based system to select bombing targets in the Gaza Strip, an investigation by Plus 972 magazine has revealed. The new system has generated sweeping kill lists condemning tens of thousands of Palestinians, part of the IDF's growing dependence on AI to plan lethal strikes. Citing 6 Israeli intelligence officers, the Tel Aviv-based magazine said the previously undisclosed AI system, dubbed Lavender, has played a central role in the unprecedented bombing of Gaza since last October, with the military effectively treating its output as if it were a human decision. Formally, the Lavender system is designed to mark all suspected operatives in the military wings of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, including low-ranking ones, as potential bombing targets. During the first weeks of the war, the army almost completely relied on Lavender, which clocked as many as 37,000 Palestinians as suspected militants and their homes for possible airstrikes. However, while thousands have been killed in the resulting air raids, the majority were women and children, or people who were not involved in the fighting. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, civilians. That is according to the officers speaking to Plus 972 magazine. Human personnel often served only as a rubber stamp for the machine's decisions, one source said, adding that many commanders spend a mere 20 seconds reviewing targets before approving strikes just to make sure the Lavender-marked target is male. In targeting lower-level Hamas fighters in the early stages of the war, the military largely resorted to the use of unguided dumb bombs, concluding it was permissible to kill up to 15 or 20 civilians in such operations, the intelligence sources added. Senior militants, meanwhile, could warrant the deaths of more than 100 civilians in some cases. You don't want to waste expensive bombs on unimportant people, one officer said, and it only gets better. Lavender is far from the first AI program used to direct operations for Israel's military. Yet another system unveiled by Plus 972 Mag, known as Where's Daddy, has also been used specifically to track the targeted individuals and carry out bombings when they had entered their families' residences. I'm going to read that again. Another system, known as Where's Daddy, which had to have been named by some sick individuals, has also been used specifically to track the targeted individuals and carry out bombings when they had entered their families' residences. An unnamed intelligence officer told the outlet that homes are considered a first option for targeting, observing that the IDF is not interested in killing Hamas operatives only when they are in a military building or engaged in a military activity. And some important data here. As of April, Israeli bombings have damaged or destroyed a staggering 62% of all housing units in Gaza, or nearly 300,000 homes, leaving more than 1 million people internally displaced, according to United Nations estimates. The article goes on to discuss another program called The Gospel, used to automatically generate massive target lists at a rate vastly exceeding previous methods. Under the guidance of that tool, Israeli forces have increasingly struck what they call power targets, including high-rise residential structures and public buildings. Such attacks are reportedly part of an effort to exert quote-unquote civil pressure on Palestinian society, a tactic clearly prohibited under international law as a form of collective punishment. So, ladies and gentlemen, does this sound like a country that is just defending itself? Does this sound like a government that is just defending itself? Well, let's take a look at another article. From the Jerusalem Post, back on March 25th, UN report claims Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, calls for arms embargo. You may have heard of this report. It was widely reported, and Israel had something to say about it. The report presents the alleged genocide as driven by a genocidal logic integral to a settler colonial project in Palestine. UN Special Rapporteur Francesca Albanese delivered a report to the body's Human Rights Council claiming that Israel's military campaign in Gaza since October 7th amounts to genocide and calling on countries to impose sanctions and an arms embargo immediately. She said, "I find there are reasonable grounds to believe that the threshold indicating the commission of the crime of genocide against Palestinians as a group in Gaza has been met." And then Israel's diplomatic mission said, "Instead of seeking the truth, this special rapporteur tries to fit weak arguments to her distorted and obscene inversion of reality." I don't know. What we just saw about this AI and the Where's Daddy program, that seems to fit